All right, guys, welcome back to the show one final time. For those of you who are still listening to this in one sitting, more power to you.
Champions.
That's right. You deserve a gold star or something. A diamond discussion star. I don't know. Maybe I'll make those and mail them out. I don't know. We'll see. Christmas card. Some of you asked for a Christmas card. First of all, okay, let's talk about that for 2 seconds. We have, and as you guys know, we talked about this on the show maybe a month or so ago, and we've reached over 45,000 listeners on the show, which is just freaking blessing.
That's awesome.
To be able to have that kind of impact after a couple of years. I hope you guys are still listening for impact, not just to laugh at me or whatever. But it's been a blast to be on the show and have guys like Kyle come and add value to you as well. So with that being said, I haven't done this in a while, so please shoot us Instagram, TikTok message on just things that you need to work on, and just things that I can maybe help you with. I know I did this back in March, and just kind of clue you in on this, dude. So for a couple of folks, I was able to actually respond and take the time to do it, but I had about 30 people send in clips of their swings or their long toss or whatever, and I just kind of encouraged them, and it was just kind of a free coaching thing that I offered, to be able to do that. So I'll open it up again. It's a new year, so why not? Let's do it again. And so send me your details, and for those of you who do send me that, include your address in there if you're comfortable with it. And I'll definitely throw you something in there too. So there you go to those of you who have asked about that. Okay, so before we jump into Say It With Your Chest segment, this is more of a hot take. Kyle will have one. We'll chat about it. I'll have one. We'll chat about that briefly. And then we'll jump into some Major League Baseball talk to wrap up the show. But before we get into that, as we were talking about stretching, and this was not on purpose,
Yeah.
As we were talking about stretching in the last segment as something that is truly, it's vitally important even before you reach your 30s and you're playing adult league baseball. I mentioned yoga. And so I mentioned yoga, and then Kyle informed me that his girlfriend, Noelle, has a yoga thing going or coming, right?
Yeah,
so
it's coming.
Please share
to
our Nashville listeners and even beyond what she's got going on.
Yeah, man, she's brilliant. First off and foremost, and so that might be recency bias on why I said, hey, what's the most important thing players need is stretching. Let me tell you, she's making sure I'm stretching, and doing yoga, and it's tough, man. Let me tell you, but she's been really grinding, man, in classwork and everything, working towards getting her license for teaching courses, and then one day hopefully owning her own studio and doing yoga classes. And so she's been working her tail off on getting that done. And she's attending live courses now, or live in person, like yoga sessions, and like taking note of like kind of the strengths and like things that they are doing and they aren't doing based on her learnings. And yeah, one day she's gonna take it to the road. So Noelle, I'll share more to come, but
dude, I freaking love that.
We're gonna be wanting to get her name out there because she is just such a smart individual in general, and she's very passionate about it, and she's great at it. So,
well, dude, all right, guys, listeners, listen, man. If you're in the Nashville area, you know where you need to go for your yoga sessions, and the reason I love to just be able to share, and I've talked about this before, guys, just being able to promote other people, man. It's such a fun thing when you got a what I would call a relatively small or moderate platform, be able to do that, and also just be able to add value to people in different ways.
Yeah.
So I'm pumped for Noelle.
Thanks for doing that. That's awesome.
Absolutely, dude. Pumped for Noelle, but I'm also pumped for those who may be able to have an opportunity to take advantage of what she's learned and being able to add some her adding value to them.
It's really fascinating. It's really it could really help us in our game.
Sure.
Like staying limber and staying like stretched out to make sure that we have full range of mobility when we get out there.
Listen, man, I think I would have pulled the trigger on a couple of more stolen bases this summer if I felt good about my hamstring or whatever the case may be.
Do a yoga class with us, man.
So I will.
Okay.
I gladly.
Right, you heard it here. He's coming.
Hey, and listen, we are Hey, my son, he's almost a month old, which is crazy to think about. And so my wife is in postpartum stages right now, and so I don't know, maybe we'll have to get some postpartum yoga going for her as well. We'll just do a couple session or something. So
Love that.
that'll be good. All right, so say it with your chest is our segment. I have more of a bird chest. Cal's over here with the pecs. All right, so hot take. And this is more. And I say hot take, not like a Stephen A. Smith type situation, but more of something that you can dive into. And you actually prepped me on what yours is, but not in detail. So I'm really excited about yours.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be quiet and let you talk. So hot take, what you got?
Yeah, as it pertains to ball and just life in general, I think so many parallels can be drawn between faith
Yeah.
and self belief, right? Self belief at the plate, faith in Lord Jesus Christ and
Sure.
like our path in life and His plan for us, right? And so I rededicated to my faith earlier this year. I
Let's
got
go.
baptized
Let's go.
back in May.
Let's go, man.
So I've really found I've really been reinvigorated in my walk with God, and I feel like so many times I can recall back to growing up and playing and when and trying to think like, hey, the moments that I performed the best, like what was happening? Yeah, I was having fun. That's important,
Sure.
right? I mentioned that earlier, but also like I was confident. I was confident in the result. I saw the result. I visualized before the game, before the at bat, before the next pitch from the outfield, what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy how it always ends up happening, right? And it's like when you're being intentional with those thoughts, and just like with your faith, right? Like,
Yeah.
You're trusting God, like He's got you covered. Everything's gonna happen as it should, and not to worry and not to overthink
Sure.
and get anxious. And so, I feel like, the idea of just trusting in something you can't see yet, right? You can't see what hasn't happened. You can't see yourself. You can't see that hit happening until it happens, but you can believe it in your mind,
Right.
in your heart, and you can visualize, those things happening. I had an assistant coach in Little League actually, and it was kind of annoying at the time, but it was the mantra of the entire summer. He just kept saying, visualize, visualize. And like,
Really?
as we're all up at the plate, and I swear that was our best hitting summer because it was like just believing in the result before it happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then watching that belief show up in your performance, man. So I just think that was an important thing for me to bring up because it was just, it really hit me this summer too, because, coupled with, baptism, but the timing of the season all happening at the same time,
Yeah.
just trusting in, my abilities and, everything. So,
Dude, so you saying that, I wanted to look it up, and so I don't know if I've actually read a verse verbatim on the show before, but here we are.
Let's
right?
do it.
I love that. So, well, we talked about our faith on the show. I've had guests on the show who have just shared what that is, and the Diamond Discussion is obviously a baseball softball podcast. And I'm not going to beat you over the head with a Bible, but I think there's so much value in people knowing, where do I get my confidence from? And so I wanted to look up the verse verbatim because I wanted to make sure that I didn't botch it. And we all as believers know Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, right? But it's 4:12 that I want to point out real quick. For Philippians 4:12, it says, "I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I have learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want." And the word I wanted to highlight there is the word content, because that word contentment comes in the verse prior to the verse that is probably one of the most well-known verses out there. I can do all things, right? But before I can do all things, I am content in where I am with the Lord, right? And so,
Yep.
dude, I firmly believe that when you allow your faith kind of guide your life in every facet of it,
Mm-hmm.
things go in ways you don't expect,
Right.
and God can kind of take you down some paths that feels sometimes it feels like am I supposed to be here? It's
Right.
just too good to be true.
Right.
Or maybe he'll take you through a storm, right?
Right.
That you need to be in to be able to learn something so that you can be a better Kyle or a better Demetrius on the other side
Yep.
of it too, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, man, we can preach a sermon on that one, brother. So that's a big hot take right there. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm gonna go. That's a super positive hot take, I would say. Mine's not negative. It's just more. It relates to the game as well, and it's something. I guess the theme of tonight is Kyle's been speaking from a player perspective, right? And I've been speaking more from a coaching perspective, and so this fits right into my coaching perspective. And I said here that parents can hurt player development just as much, if not more, than coaches sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And fortunately, man, I was able to be blessed with parents who allowed me to coach. And I say that, on a loose occasion, just because it was a travel ball setting that I coached in, right? And sometimes parents can be a lot in the travel ball scene or AAU basketball, whatever the case may be. And so what I'll say here on that front with my chest is that parents out there who value the space that their kids are in with their coaches typically have the more developed coach or the player.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Not that they don't offer opportunities for growth, right? There's plenty of I've coached multiple players who have dads that also coach. They just didn't want to coach their daughter, right?
Mm-hmm.
They want somebody else to be in that arena with them, and that's cool. I may be that same kind of dad, honestly. I don't know if I want to coach Aubrey in softball specifically as she gets older. I haven't made that decision yet, but and maybe it won't be mine. Maybe it'll be hers. But anyway, to say though, I think there's a difference between offering value and undermining what a coach is doing. Yeah. And so,
Yep.
And as we were talking about earlier, like that's not bad coaching. That is this, right? There are times where coaches are just, they don't know what they're doing and maybe they shouldn't be on the field or whatever. But usually I would say most people know or have a sense of what they're doing out there.
Yeah.
And it would behoove parents from a developmental standpoint, I would say that allow the coach to coach.
Let the coach
you know what
coach.
I mean?
Let them do their thing.
Yeah, let them play their role. And because I think there's so many moments around sports where people want to kind of interject,
yeah,
and not let the person do the role they were set out to do.
For
example,
don't be that mom or dad. Come on.
No, don't be it, right?
Don't be that.
Because I've had moments, and I love wearing all three hats now. Like now that I'm playing with the Brewers, I'm a player. I'm a baseball player right now. I do less coaching now. I'm doing more online coaching, but I was coaching softball a lot, and I officiate. I'm a referee in the basketball space, right? And so I get to see the perspective of three different angles these days.
Yeah.
And sometimes the coach wants to referee for the referee. And sometimes the parents want to coach or play, right? And sometimes, honestly, the referees are doing a little bit too much, interjecting, in the players, space too, right? So I think, lack of a better term, stay in your lane in a nice way, right? Stay in your lane and do it well.
Yeah.
Right? Because I think there's a role for everybody in this space. The umpires have a role on the field. The players have a role. The coaches have a role. The fans have a role. As we talked about those role players, right? There are other roles to be served in any setting.
Right.
And I think parents can do a great service to their kids if they understand what their lane is.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So Anyway, that is that. Okay, MLB talk, and this is we're here for the sake of time. I would say, as we're shooting this, I've got Kyle out late. Noelle's already in bed, and she probably thinks we've hit up Broadway already. So, anyway, for the sake of time, dude, what I'm gonna do is that the next time, 'cause I want to have you back on the show if you will be. I promise I won't hold you this long next time. But we'll start off with this segment next time with our explanations. Okay. So the challenge here today is for us to give our answer to these MLB talk questions with no explanation.
Okay.
Just say it and then we'll go.
All right.
It's going to be hard for me to do that.
I know, no context.
Because I want to give context.
It's good. No, that's an excuse. So you got to have me back now.
All right. So and then we'll jump into the last couple of questions here as well. All right. So this is kind of back to a this or that MLB talk on these four, no explanation involved, and then we'll jump into the last two. All right. First question is most hostile stadium, Astros or Phillies?
Phillies.
I'm going Astros.
Ooh, I really want it.
And I will explain later. All right. More home field pressure. And what I mean by that, like pressure on the home team. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yankees or Dodgers?
Yankees.
I'm going Yankees as well.
Okay.
Better stadium vibes, Braves or Padres?
So I'm going to say Braves, but only because I haven't been to Padres.
Okay.
I heard it's a spectacle, though.
Fair enough. I really want to explain, but I'm going to go Padres here.
Okay. Spectacle, like they say.
My folks are going to hate me, but oh, man. Okay. More ruthless fan base, Yankees or Phillies?
Oh, true coin flip here.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give the slight edge to Philly again.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going Yankees. I'm going Yankees there. All right. I promise I'm going to make a note to come back to this the next time you're on the show so that we can provide our explanations. All right. So real quick, for our audience, I am a huge Boston Red Sox fan. I've been a Red Sox fan for a very, very long time.
That explains the Yankees.
It does, very much so. You have been a Chicago Cubs fan forever?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
35.
Fair enough. So, and we'll table that part of it as well. But I put this on here more for giggles, just to see where we'd go with it. But which organization outside of our team, so we can't pick the Cubs or the Red Sox, would you root for if you couldn't root for your own?
You know what's weird? I actually caught myself thinking about this before you even told me I was coming on the show the other day. I don't know why. It's not even baseball season anymore.
Yeah.
And my home base would get mad at me for this answer. It's in the division.
No.
And it ain't the Brewers.
Not the Cards.
Despise both. It's the Reds, man.
Oh.
It's the Reds.
Please share. Okay, why? Why the Reds?
Well, I mean, they're that classic small market with a ton of grit, and that fan base, they absolutely show out when the team's rolling. Like last season, not to mention, they're some of the nicest people. I spent a lot of my professional, working, career in sales in Ohio. With my previous company. I got the opportunity to go to a couple games and just be in that ballpark environment and around the stadium. And, they were playing the Cubs and they could have treated me like garbage.
For sure.
Maybe in Philly. But they were awesome, man. They were so nice.
Yeah.
The hospitality down there. So,
dude, that's dope. I'm here for it. So, this is one where it's if my wife heard the question here, she would say, yeah, he would definitely choose them, no doubt. Mm-hmm. And my closet team, if you will, I'm an American League guy on the Red Sox with the Red Sox. And for years, man, even before these World Series runs that they've had, I've always just liked the Dodgers.
Really?
Okay. And I don't know why in particular.
Organization.
And the weird thing about it, the last few years, which it broke my heart and it still breaks my heart now. My favorite player, the Red Sox let him go to the Dodgers in Mookie Betts, which is still just the ultimate, just Fenway ball drop. But anyway, so he's given me even more of a reason to, just silently root for them because I'm not going to just cheer for the Dodgers outright. I'm diehard Red Sox. Yeah. But I do root for Mookie's at bats. Yeah. Even when he's playing the Sox too. Yeah. But
one of the greats, and he too went through just what we were talking about earlier, pretty big slump
in the postseason,
and they count on him heavily in the middle of that lineup, at the top of the lineup, and he powered through it. He had some big at bats there late.
Yep, and you talk about trust early on, man. Like Dave Roberts, in an interview at one point, he said, "I'm not taking him out of the lineup."
No.
I mean, and he stayed right there in the 2-hole or somewhere in there, right?
Blasphemous, whoever called for him to be taken out.
Crazy.
I mean,
crazy. And I can't say that I love the Dodger fan base because they can get on my nerves a little bit. I'm gonna be honest about that. But the organization itself, the way it's run, I can appreciate it, and it almost gives me the vibe of I'm a big Steph Curry fan, so I've followed the Warriors since Steph Curry's rookie season. And the way that the Golden State Warriors have run their ship, similar to the Dodgers, I would say. And that's kind of why
it's
I
a gold
like
standard.
Yeah,
it really is.
And it's high expectations, but it allows the players to be players, and it's not the Yankees. Anyway, so all right, next one here, the last question to wrap this up, as we get to going home here, and it is if a younger player only watched today's MLB, no social media, no highlights, what's one thing they'd actually learn about how to win a ball game?
So I'd say winning comes from mastering fundamentals, not flash. So not the hardest swing necessarily. I know all the analytics out there will tell you otherwise.
For sure.
It's going to be hard to ignore that moving forward. It's not the nastiest clip. Those are nice to see, but it's the boring, repeatable, detail-driven stuff that adds up over 9 innings.
Sure.
So
I'm with you.
I'll keep it
brief. All right, so I'll keep it brief as well, and I'm gonna go with the little things still matter.
Absolutely.
We talk about exit velo. We talk about just pitchers being able to pump it in there, all that stuff. That's very skill based, and just everybody can't throw the ball 95 miles per hour. Everybody can't hit the ball 450 feet, but everybody can. And if you try hard enough, everybody can lay a bunt down when the opportunity presents itself, right? Everybody can tag up on a fly ball and get the jump that they need to get, right? So some of those little things that can ultimately turn into a big thing. I mean, we saw that this summer for us and against us, right?
Yep.
Where the little things are imperative, and they ultimately compound.
Running out those fly balls, you never know.
That's it.
Tough sky.
That's it, man. I'll tell you, I take a lot of pride and joy in my little pop-up flares that end up somehow finding some greenery.
And you're on second.
You're standing on second base.
You're on second. You're never jogging to first. I'll give you that.
Dude, thank you for being on the show, man.
Thanks for having
Seriously,
me,
thank you for being on the show. This was a blast.
Run at it. We'll be smoother from here.
Hey, and maybe one day down the road, man, we'll be seeing the Frye podcast, birthing. But for now,
be my first guest.
Dude, I love that, man. I love that. So hopefully, guys, we'll be able to have Kyle back on the show with us in the near future, especially to explain what we just shared that we did not explain, because I'm intrigued about that one. But yeah, man, you got anything else? You good?
No, man. Thanks for having me, man. It was it's pretty cool, the whole setup that you have here, and it's really inspiring that you've really dedicated a lot of your time and effort into educating the younger generation, and a lot of the players that you coach, I'm sure, are listening, man. It's admirable, man.
Dude, I appreciate that.
This guy's got a lot of knowledge. He talks about my playing career, but it sounds like you've wise beyond your years in terms of your experience around the game, and so you're definitely credible, man.
Dude, appreciate it, man.
Definitely credible.
Absolutely, brother. Well, hey, guys, we are going to wrap this show up like we always do every single week. So please let everything you do be done in love, because at the end of the day, that is truly what makes this beautiful world go round. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.